All right, let's talk about day 2. So what day is it today? It's Saturday, April 16th, day 2 of 30 or so, okay? This is what we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about like the idea and then the name, okay? In a digital kind of sense too, okay? Parallels, and like basically I'll talk about the automated method, and then we'll just open it up. So, consulting company, the automated method, right? Group of businesses that work together to modernize everything in your business. Hands-off white glove supervision, that kind of thing. All right, that's what we are now. Did we start there? No. But was it easy to figure out as things moved along and you could change things slightly and you could still have a business? Yes. There are some decisions you have to make in the beginning that are very powerful decisions so that your business function and the evolution of your business doesn't have to really get interrupted, okay? Because remember, we're going to be talking about your business, and adding as much automation to it as possible, as much automatic technology, okay? So these are the kind of conversations I like. Okay, so you have an idea, any idea, right? Whether it's a service or a product, you have an idea. So you understand supply and demand, you understand brand, hopefully, you understand story branding, hopefully, okay? And you have somewhere to go, okay? So let's imagine you're like everybody else in the world, and you're like, I got an idea. I'm gonna start a business, okay? So you have the idea. People will talk about your values and your core values and your mission statement, whatever. Think of this in terms of how you want this to strategically move forward. The whole idea to strategically move forward. People will say that strategy is this and strategy is that. I'm talking about how do you want this to work for you, for them? Like, what does it do for you? And what are you good at, or what is it going to do? What's the supply and demand for the outside world? What is the service offering? What are the deliverables? Is it a product? Is it a service? Yada, 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 okay? So we're consultants over here. It's a consulting business. Yes, there's analog. Yes, there's digital. But let's go straight forward here, okay? You could write down a mission statement if you want, but let's start with the name, okay? Easy peasy. So the name of the business over here is the automated method, okay? Easy. Now, was that easy to come up with? No. Did I have 1,000 different ideas? Yes. Did I have 1,000 different names? Not really. Because you want to know what stops you is the .com, the domain, right? That stops a lot of people because it's very difficult to name stuff these days because everything's taken, right? So I, shout out to Heidi, had dinner at a Thai restaurant probably in, 2014, 2015, 14, whatever, when I first decided to rebrand and rename the current, the IT company that is now the Operations Consulting Modernization Business Agency that is the Automated Method. Anyway, and after some amazing Thai, I believe it was on Dundas, I'm not sure, and some, brainstorming with someone who's in advertising and is genius in terms of creative design and creative everything, we came up with kind of something that I was alluding to that just kind of came to fruition. So I had gone to, here's a good example of a story. So I went to Chapters Indigo here in Toronto at the Eaton Centre, and I had my headphones in, and there were Bose at the time, and I was listening to some awesome music, and I go to get a coffee at Starbucks. You go up the escalator, and then that's where the Pop Biz, I didn't used to call it Pop Biz Lit. Now I call it Pop Biz Lit, but that's popular business literature, okay? I don't think anybody calls it that but me, thanks because of podcasting. But here's the thing. I kind of wanted to go with the book idea. So because I understand these principles that are passed on academically in books, I was like, okay, maybe it'd be easiest to name the business as if it could be a book. That's where the automated method came from. So what I did was I went and took photos of the covers of probably 150, 200 books in Pop Biz Lit in Indigo chapters here at the Eaton Center in Toronto. What you learn very quickly is how many pages they are, how many chapters they are, the font choices, the color choices, the aesthetic, the name, blah, 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 blah. And I really, really enjoyed the, right? So the, right? It's like the only one, not a. And then I was focused on automated, but I had different variations of that word that were passing through my head because I knew there were operations involved, etc. I wasn't so fascinated with automation because of how far away it sounds, and I now tell people it sounds too industrial, but it works because it makes sense to catch the attention of the person. Then the method is how this is like me to a T, right? I like thinking things through. There is a logical method to everything, especially when it comes to operations and workflow, right? So that's basically how this was born. Now, coincidentally, that same day, on my phone, I have an application, my iPhone, that I can search for domains and buy them. And of course, my friends and I, what we do is we buy domains all the time because we come up with ideas and we're like, race to buy the .com kind of joke. And so I bought quickly, at that time, immediately, the automatedmethod.com. The automatedmethod.ca, and I believe automatedmethod.com and automatedmethod.ca. I'm not 100% sure, but I was very happy that the automatedmethod.com was available. Now, it's long. Yes, it's long. I get it. However, satisfied me. Because when the name and the domain parallel, you can move forward if you're like me, okay? Like, there are ways to shorten this, and there are ways to there's so many different things to do, but the reason why I'm telling you this, and I'm not gonna focus on this aspect of it, but I do understand how important this is for your mind to go past that point so that you don't feel like you have to go back and change it later, which is why I was so happy when that happened, okay? Because now I have at, right? And this is remember, we're in the day where the www doesn't exist anymore. So all you need to know is the domain and the extension. That's it, right? And I was satisfied, now we move forward. Now these days, what I would say is that you probably should go to, I believe the domain of choice for this is Namecheck. Okay, so it is, I believe it's namechk.com. Namecheck, so the E's missing in check, okay? Namecheck.com. Before you purchase the domain, and also maybe at the same time that you name the business, use this website because you can search for the domain and the usernames for all the platforms. Because if you're going business hard, you do not want to have to retrofit or screw with all of the naming conventions just so it works, okay? Like, say for example, reason why I push a lot of my social feeds through my own personal accounts is because Twitter's automated method is too many characters. The automated method is too many characters for the profile, for the name, the username. So it's at automated method. But the Instagram page is at the automated method because you can have more characters. You see what I'm saying? So this is, when you come up with the name of your business, make sure you're thinking of the domain as well at the same time as namecheck.com, okay? That's a seriously important thing to think of because you're going to use these platforms and you're going to have to register on all of them, all right? Because you don't want to have something move forward and then be like, oh, wait a second, we should get that, and someone has taken it, okay? So it's a very awesome, powerful step to have a name that coincides with the domain that's available, whatever the extension may be, .co, .io, or maybe even in the .com naming, you could have get or we are, or any of those sentence structure. There's websites that can help you, brainstorm that stuff. But what I'm saying is you got name, you know what you're doing, you got the domain, go to namecheck.com. And now you're like, in principle, you're kind of firming up this relationship with your business digitally that you don't have to worry about moving forward. You see what I'm saying? Because that's one of these things in this. Remember, we're going to build the most remote business possible together over these 30 days. And I just know that that's something we have to get. You have to firm up so it isn't a roadblock later on. Because the evolution of your business might change. You want to make sure you got all these bases covered, okay? That's that. So now we're here, okay? Next, where do we buy the domain? Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you this through experience, okay? And through also working with a bunch of agencies. It does matter. Okay? It does matter where you buy the domain. Also, I'm going to give you a few extra tricks here first, okay? Number one, what you're going to do is you're going to start a Gmail account, all right? Now, this is just day 2. I think I can flesh out a lot of this like really technical stuff in the first 5 days, and then we can get into the real good stuff, okay? The reason why I'm doing this is because I haven't done it before in this detail, and it's really important, and I set myself up for a 30 days, so I need lots of material, you know what I mean? Lots of story. So, this is why, and so I prefer Gmail for these type of free email constructions because of the function of not being Microsoft, okay? So it's not that you don't have, you can go get an Outlook.com if you want. But it's got, I don't know, I've just always been more Gmail. Gmail for a custom domain just still sounds more professional than Outlook.com. That's just how it works. So, let's say you got Gmail. Now this is free Gmail, okay? Free Gmail. So let's go with whatever your company name is. So let's say My Company Inc., okay, at gmail.com. Now why are you going to create a free email address? And then this could be whatever you want. It doesn't matter. This is just for convenience later. I'm just giving you tricks now for convenience later, okay? So what happens is you're creating an administrative all email address that isn't connected to the domain that you are going to drive all of the function of your business to, okay? This is just another important cool little step here that works, okay? So if you can, so someone might have my domain, My Company Incorporated or whatever, just find something that is professional looking. You're not going to give it out, it's for you, but professional looking, but can make you feel like it doesn't sound shitty later. Like maybe like My Company Incorporated 5. No thanks. So why are we doing this? It's really this easy. This can become your container for all of the administrative decisions you're making while you're building your business before you scale, okay? So you can basically make this the command account to make all of your SaaS purchases and direct all of the invoices and all the receipts and everything to one email address that isn't you. So now you're not inundated. So in the beginning, before you even scale, you're already separating the administration from yourself in email. You're separating it from the get-go. And then that email address you can use, complex password, whatever, it's yours just like any other email address. But all of these things we're going to do go there first. All right? Big difference, okay? Moving forward. Because you can see what I'm talking about if you like so many businesses just fly super fast right out of the gate. And they're not thinking of this stuff. And then you're like, okay, remember, this is what I want you to have. And not you operating the business. All right? So how do we do that? Well, I created a false email that's yours, that isn't you, that can be a container and an administrative account for all of the services that we're going to implement. And you can change it later if you want. Okay? The joke I have here is that in a lot of business function, in designing a business, doing this, you can basically register every single SaaS platform with that being the control email or the administrative account email. And if you were to ever sell your business, I make a joke, you just complex this password and you basically just sell the Gmail password. Because as far as everybody's concerned out there, everything goes to the email. So you could build an entire business, stacked an app stack, modeled it, it's already all there, your whole team's in it, everything like that, and it's all controlled by one email address and a complex password and some 2FA. All right? Bam. Anyway, that's that. Okay, so let's go one step further because it's 15 minutes, and I think I just want to make these other steps clear because I want to end on a platform. All right? Okay? Now, remember, I always say that this is just my way of going about construction. So, now, say you got that email address. Okay? Where are you going to buy? What is the registrar? Who is the registrar? Don't use GoDaddy. Okay, that's first. Don't use GoDaddy. What I prefer the world to think and understand is that your registrar is the company that is in control of connecting the IP address to the name of the domain of your business, okay? Try to find these ones that are really lean and popular that are not too expensive, but they're not bottom feeders, registrars, and it's also got some parallels with the other companies and SaaS platforms out there. Now, you can buy domains through, say, Squarespace and stuff like that, but I'm telling you right now, clean design is step-by-step, adding slowly, not getting these platforms to sell you services inside services because you don't understand, because moving away later or changing things later is a fucking nightmare. Okay, so this is like the cleanest practice, Jason's cleanest best practice for scale, moving forward, whatever, that won't fuck you. That's why I say use something like Namecheap. Okay? Namecheap.com. Now, why do I recommend Namecheap? Oh, look at this. Already I'm brand heavy. Yeah, okay. So see, the thing is, I just ostracized every other registrar out there. Too bad, so sad, fuck off. This is what I like about it. It's easy UX. It's got an app for the iPhone. It's super, super user-friendly. Also, everybody plays nice with them. They did something right. Okay, Namecheap did something right. They started partnering and branding in a way that wasn't like, I want to take over the whole domain world. I just want to offer something for this amount of money and have great UX and support, etc. So it's the best for what I consider business design. You know, like you can move to registrars later on in life, but I think for a lot of small, medium business, it's a great learning step to learn what a registrar is, and they make it easy understanding what a registrar is, and that's it. Okay, I can't say anything else about it. I've also had other people recommend it to me that I consider pretty hip in the startup world. So that's a long time ago, and this is now. People have their arguments. I still use it to this day, okay? Next. Oh yeah, by the way, the account you're going to register in Namecheap.com is obviously this Gmail is going to be the control. Why? So that now this identity is now buying your domains, your registrar, not you, this synthetic destination that you control as well that's separate from you. See what I'm doing here? Okay? Now that would be your registrar. Okay? Which is just the domain, the person, like usually what it is, you pay money every year to own the domain. There are other cool things in there, but let's just focus on the domain right now, okay? Next. This is gonna go a lot longer than 15 minutes, but I do wanna get to somewhere, so we're gonna shoot this one longer, okay? Next, DNS, okay? All you need to know about that acronym, that's it, is it's different types of records for different types of things. In your case, it'll be like pointing to URL or web hosting URL service and email. That's it, okay? And all of these platforms and ecosystems going forward, they'll basically have wizards to help you through this, okay? I say, if you want to go for your DNS, okay, you can use these registrar services, they have that, but I love the functionality of Cloudflare. A lot of people are going to argue with me on this one. They'll be like, oh, Jason, Jesus, bleh. Anyway, Here's what I'm saying about this. The wizard's in here connecting to the favorite features and platforms and like Wix and Squarespace, etc., 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 that you enjoy so much. It's all there, it's easy, it's a joke. Even if you did a GoDaddy mistake and you went to the wrong side of the tracks, jumped into NASCAR land and got yourself a domain through GoDaddy. Anyway, cloudflare.com, there you go. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Same thing, create the user using your Gmail. And then you can start with free, but the convenience of this too is if you wanted to add SSL, which is your secure socket layer, you can turn it on or turn it off. You can pay for it through there. See what I'm doing here? I'm just making it super easy. We're almost at the first step. Almost at the first step, okay? So, now that you've got your registrar, you've got your DNS host, right? Whether you can use free in the beginning, okay? It's just, it teaches you that there are two things you need to know. There's your URL, which is going to be where you point basically your web traffic for your domain, and then you're going to have your email, right? But it's not just email anymore. I'll get into that. 21 minutes. Okay, I'll keep going. We're almost there. As far as like building the best business, Jason's best practices, this is already some pretty awesome shit I'm giving you, okay? Some pretty awesome stuff. Finally, for today, we're building the best goddamn business possible. You got to find out where your core tenancy is. Core tenancy. Right? Core tenant, core, you could, some people call it tenant, tenancy, your core, whatever. All we're just going to do is we're just going to call it, screw it. It's either going to be Microsoft 365 versus Google Workspace. That's what it's called now. It's gone through a bunch of iterations. So is Microsoft as well. Okay, that's enough for today, but that's where we're going to go in the next day. So it'll be tomorrow, the 17th. The next day, we're going to talk about Microsoft and Google. Okay? These are just it's just a split in the road, and I'll talk about it.